Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I am Anthony Cordova, the man. Your man.
That's true.
The man.
You're the man.
And your man. Yes. That's right.
Does that make me the woman?
No.
Why not?
No, you don't want to say, oh, that's the wife or that's the woman. No, that's not the same.
I don't see the difference, but that's not the point that we're getting ready to make. I'm happy to announce to our listeners that we have a call.
Another caller. Woo!
Yes. This one is from Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim, who is a great friend of ours. And she's responding to the episode we did about saying no and avoiding giving too much of yourself to others or to things.
Yes.
So let's hear that call.
Okay. You want me to play it? Play it now? Play it?
Please.
Okay, here we go.
I think for me, I really identified with it because I have this sense of, making this sort of an internal promise to be there for other people. I think especially when you know what it's like to struggle and try to get a dream off the ground, it stays with you and you want to help other people. And so you really want to be there for them, and you really delight in being able to do that for other people. And it really does bring you joy, and can also give you energy, but I think it reaches a point where it's exhausting too. Now that I'm older and I'm not afraid to simply go for the things that may have scared me when I was younger, and I'm not afraid to go for all these creative projects that I would have put off or made lots of excuses to not go for in the past. There's also this strange sense of urgency. Even though, I'm not ancient, I'm also not immortal either. And so I feel like I can't work fast enough, like I've got to get it all done. And I'm sure there's someone older than me going, oh, for goodness sakes, woman. That's ridiculous. But there is like a sense of urgency, like that there's not enough hours in the day and that I want to get all this stuff done. And so I end up sort of exhausted and frustrated, and the things that bring me joy, the creative things that bring me joy, also end up making me, I guess, a little tired and wrung out as well. And so I'm working on that balance too. But I still want to be there for other creatives that are doing similar things as well, to be there for them. And so, I'm working on that too.
Thank you, Kim, for those excellent points.
Yes.
She made a lot of excellent points, don't you think?
Yeah, I believe she did. Giving of yourself or giving too much of yourself.
Right.
And, the urgency.
Right.
What's up with the urgency?
Well, I think we as creatives do have that sense of urgency, whether we admit it or not, that we just want to finish this project and that project and this project and that project. And so we feel like we have to get it all done. And I think part of that is because we, especially writers, because many writers compose or create whatever genre they're working in based on their observations of society. So for me anyway, there is that sense of urgency where I have to tell people what I think about this right now so that we can fix it.
Yes, I agree with you. Most of the listeners know that I'm writing a book of poetry, that it is nearly finished. That's what I keep saying, but it is. And there is a sense of urgency, but all at the same time, I have to say to myself, when it's done, then it's done. I shouldn't try to push, because whenever it's done, it's the right time for it to be done.
I agree. We as creatives have to remember that when we start something, and also especially when we finish something, it's exactly the right time.
Yeah, because writing is a long process.
Yes.
Even when you're done, you're still
You're
kind of
still-
not done.
Right, because you're still thinking about, oh, I could revise it to
Yes,
this.
yeah,
Or
revisions.
it sounds better like this.
Exactly.
You know?
So,
But she brings up an excellent point of, she was talking about immortality as well. So I think many creatives want to have that finished product before they die.
no,
you
but
know?
she didn't say like she was. She said
She
she
said
wasn't
she's-
like
she said
ready
she's
for the
not-
grave. Or
Right.
anything.
She says she's not anxious, but she's not immortal either. That's what she said.
So the other thing about giving too much of yourself, you want to help other creatives and be supportive of other creatives,
Right.
but you can get in that trap of concentrating too much
On their work.
on
instead
their
of
work
yours.
and helping them.
Yes.
So what Jill and I have found that works for us is we just try to spend time with our creative friends,
Right.
whether it's face to face or on Zoom or whatever. But in that setting, we kind of give to each other.
Right.
So
because when you're either just talking about what you're working on, or perhaps someone might read lines of something that they've done, and so therefore you're able to hear and offer input as to what you heard. You are able to offer feedback from just hearing it.
Yeah.
And so but that also energizes you because you're around all these people who have all these amazing works in progress, and that inspires you to do yours as well.
Exactly. As opposed to just supporting them.
Right. Where there's no exchange.
And there's no exchange. So
Right.
yeah, that's a really great thing to do. So you can think about that a little bit, Kim. And the other thing is, when it gets back to the urgency, sometimes when you have that much of an urgency, I got to get this done and I got to get that done and I got to get this done. It really helps for me to make a priority list and what is the most important thing on these priorities. And I kind of just will focus on it. Because when you start focusing on too many things that you want to do, you end up sitting still.
Right.
You're going right, you're going left, you're going forward, you're going up, you're going down, and you find that
and you're not really progressing at all.
Yeah, you're not progressing at all. You haven't got much work done. So, focus on that most important project first.
Right. And people a lot of people know that I have accountability partners as well, where we'll talk about what we're reading, because writers read, and what we're writing. And then, in a week we'll talk about, well, how far did you get?
Right.
So that also keeps you on track as well as them.
Yeah. And, I'll use myself as an example. So while I've been writing this latest book of spoken word poetry, I only work on it, period. That's when it comes to writing. That's it. I don't even read a book while I'm working on my poetry.
Say it ain't so.
I don't, yeah, because it takes away I know how limited my time is. Sometimes I only have, an hour or 2 hours in a day, and maybe not every day, where I can write. So if I use that time reading instead, I'm not getting any writing done. And at this point, the most important thing for me to do is to finish that book.
I understand that point. But for me, I work in my reading list usually reflects what I'm writing, so that I find inspiration in what I'm reading.
Yeah, and that's not only inspiration, but it's also research, that can help you. So I can understand that, where
so to
our
me,
processes are a little bit different.
Right. I was going to say, for me, reading is part of the process.
Right. So I read a book before I start writing this book, but that book inspired me to write my book.
Right. Right.
So that was my research that got me to, this point now.
Absolutely.
And the book I read was not a book of poetry.
No, it wasn't. No, it definitely was not. Well, again, Kim, thank you very much for
Yes,
taking
thank you.
taking the time to call us.
Yes,
So we appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm glad, Jill, you reminded me that this is not our episode by saying thank you, Kim. Because we would have kept going on
No,
and
we would
on
not
and
have.
on and on. I
No,
would have.
no,
We could
I
have
would
talked.
have.
This
I would
could
have
have been
steered
a whole.
the conversation
It
a
could have-
different way.
It could have been a whole episode. However,
We did a whole episode. That's what she's responding to.
it could be a whole nother episode. This is the episode to answer the voicemail. So, because it opens, other doors and other questions and all of that too.
Well, sure.
get
So we
that
still invite
conversation
our
going.
listeners to call in.
Yeah. But
so maybe we can do an episode in the future with nothing but calls.
Yeah. Oh,
but we have to get enough to do that.
Got to get enough call. Oh, well, maybe we should put somebody on the spot. Hey, Gary, call in. Call in, Gary. We miss you.
All right. Well, let's get going on what this episode is actually about, which is relaxing at home. Relaxing
at home.
At home. It's part of a segment that we call
Stand by your stance.
Do you want to speak first about this?
I actually do. I am a person that's always doing something.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Especially when I'm at home.
Which can be a bad thing.
So it's very difficult for me to relax at home because I'm thinking of all the things that need to be done, period. Just, regular stuff. So
like what? Specify that for the listeners.
It could be, I need to fix the back door. I need to clean the gutters. I need to cut the grass. I need to, all of these things. I need to fix the car. I need, just things and more things. And the list never ends.
That's true. Because listeners, often when Tony is at home, he can be sitting with you, having a conversation, and then you see his eyes look at something. And he's looking at it. And the reason he's looking at it is because he thinks, oh, I need to fix that. Or, oh, I need to do this to that. So it's really, I think, difficult for you to sit in a room at your own house and look around and not feel that you should be doing something.
Yes. So I do know this about myself. And I realize that I do need to be able to relax at home. And, otherwise the only time I relax is on vacation. And during COVID, we didn't have, well, I know COVID's still going on, but
right. It is?
Yeah. It's but anyway, for self-improvement for myself, sometimes I have to, just put in my mind, hey, I know there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done, but I need to take some time for myself just to relax and maybe do nothing. Instead of when I wake up in the morning, instead of getting up and starting to do stuff, maybe I should just lay there. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just lay there. Maybe I should just, think about some creative things. And actually, even the creative things that I do, I also need to take a break from that sometimes.
That can become work.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Just working on my book. It's very, it's very trying because I write about all the injustices in this country.
So it puts you in a certain space.
Yeah, it puts me in a certain space, which is kind of stressful.
Yes.
And and I've been writing that for 9 months now. So sometimes I have to say, you know what? I know I have time to write right now, but no, I need to take a break from it and just clear my mind and do something mindless or fun or just something. Or really, some of my best relaxation is just talking to Jill about
I relax you with our conversations.
just talking about just different things in general. What it could be creative and not creative. It could be what we want to do in the future or something. But that relaxes me and calms me. Like we'll have breakfast sometimes, and our breakfast will last for like 3 hours. Because
Yes,
we're
yes.
just sitting there
Just
talking
talking.
as if we're in a restaurant somewhere and just listening to music and eating and talking about
Yes,
stuff. So,
yes. Well, I think this episode is especially necessary right now because there are many people who, for the first time in their careers, are working from home.
yeah.
And so when you blend work with home,
Yeah, the lines are blurred.
the lines are blurred.
Yeah.
As to when you're working and when you're not. And I think that for many people who have always worked from home or who are new to it because of COVID, it becomes even more difficult to make yourself not work more. There have been many studies that have come out since the pandemic started where people are far more exhausted now.
Yeah.
Because
that
they didn't have a cutoff
Yeah.
because they were working
Yep.
from home. So they kept working from home.
Yeah.
But there are people who are being forced to go back into the office. And now some of their supervisors are expecting that same level of work that they did at home in the office.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still doing more work so that when they get home, they're completely exhausted.
That's right. But that gets, it gets back to self-care.
Right.
We all need our jobs. Okay. We all need to make money so we can pay bills and keep a roof over our heads. But it comes a point where if you're giving too much of yourself, there's nothing left.
Right.
This quality of life you're trying to have because you work,
right,
able to earn a living, it keeps you from having a, quality life, just because all they're doing is working and stressed out all the time. So, you have to create boundaries.
Right. And respect them. Respect your own boundaries.
Respect your own boundaries. Now, if you're a workaholic, that's a different thing.
A different conversation.
Totally. But you may have allowed yourself to be forced into a condition to where you work like a workaholic. But you have to draw boundaries. Hey, I'm not taking any emails. I'm not taking any calls. I'm not answering any texts after 5 o'clock.
Right.
That's
after
it.
a certain time.
And people, well, why didn't you answer?
Like,
I was off.
I'm not on the clock.
I'm not on the clock. I'm off. I'll answer you in the morning.
That's right. Right. Because you can train people to know what to expect from you. So if they know they're never going to get an answer until after 5 o'clock until the next day, then they know that without even really thinking about it. Like, oh, they're not going to answer me until such and such. But let me go ahead and send them this email so I won't forget.
Yeah.
Get
answered in the morning.
Right.
No problem. Because when it comes to jobs, we all need to have our jobs, but there's always another job.
Right.
Your job isn't the be all to end all to everything. No matter what you think, no matter what your boss says, no matter what your coworkers say.
What if it's your business?
Well, if it's your business, that's a little different. That's a whole different mindset. But still, even if you're the boss and it's your own business, and I've worked for myself my entire adult life practically, you still have to create some boundaries even for yourself when
Right.
you're
And stick
with
to
your
them.
job and family and all of that, and stick to it.
Right.
So
Right.
it's the same.
It is the same. There are two things that I believe in when it comes to helping yourself relax at home. One is a cliche, believe it or not.
Oh, Jill, we
it's
know
a-
you hate
I
cliches.
hate cliches, but there's one that I've always liked, and that is work smarter, not harder.
Not harder.
And the other is not so much a cliche, but it's a fairly contemporary phrase, which is staycation. So even if you're forced to stay at home, you need to make that a vacation.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was talking to someone about that the other day. They told me they was on vacation, previous week. I said, well, where'd you go? What you do? I stay home. What you do? It's like, I don't know.
But sometimes did they mean that they did nothing? Because sometimes that's the best relaxation you can have, is to do absolutely nothing.
Well, and I bring that conversation up I had because I realized that there's no way in the world I could do a staycation.
Yes, I know that about you. So I've never said
so.
to you, let's have a staycation. You've said it to me when I used to have a lot of vacation time, and you would say, well, I can't get off as often as you, so why don't you have a staycation? And I was perfectly fine with that because I can relax at home.
But no, I struggle to, put aside one day to just relax. That's even a struggle for me.
I know.
So to do it for a whole week, I'm not there yet. I know my limitations.
Yes.
I know my limitations.
True.
And I know there's no way in the world I could stay home. And, you can say, oh, well, you could use that time to write. Do a staycation and use the time to finish your book.
Right.
Yeah, I probably would get the book finished. And I would do a lot of other stuff too.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I would do other stuff. I would because I don't sit and write for 8 hours a day, straight. You know what I mean? I can write maybe 3 hours and then come back, maybe 4 hours later and write another 3 hours. But to sit down and write for 8 hours, my brain goes to mush after about 3 hours. So in that time in between, I would be doing something else, work around the house, going to the store, whatever, I know I wouldn't have a real staycation.
Yes.
But well, let's talk about staycations. So staycation is a staycation where you just stay home, or is a staycation where you do vacation stuff around where you live?
It can be either. But for me, the definition means you found a way to feel like you're on vacation right in your own house. That's what it means for me. But you aren't able to do that.
No.
Which is why I've never said to you, hey, let's have a staycation. I've never said that to you.
Yeah.
Because I know that wouldn't go over well. Now, if I said to you, let's do a day trip here, let's do a day trip there, and it goes for, over a week's time, you could do that. Because but you're still getting out of the house. So and it's all because I know that you cannot fully relax at home. I know this. But it also depends on your definition of relaxation.
No, doing work around the house is not relaxing to me. I do it out of necessity.
But what I mean is sometimes people, especially if they're a creative person, they believe that doing whatever that creative project is relaxation for them.
Well, yes. Yes.
So it depends on what your definition of relaxation is.
Yes, because when I was semi-retired, that's when I was the most creative.
Right.
And it is also when I was the most relaxed. My blood pressure went down, my pulse rate went down. You and I were walking all the time. It was better mentally and physically for me. And I did stay busy all the time. So,
Yes. Yes, you did. Well, let's get to our second segment that we call
Give it a rest and a resolution.
Is your conclusion that you can't relax at home?
No.
What's your conclusion?
For the listeners and myself, it goes back to taking care of self. We need to take care of ourselves mentally and physically.
But as the episode is called Relaxing at Home,
Yeah,
what's your conclusion on that?
This is how you do it. Whether however you find a way to do that. Like you said, relaxing at home are different things for different people.
Right.
So, take care of yourself. Figure out what that is for you. Like you brought up just a moment ago, is it relaxing for me to fix things around the house? No, but it might be relaxing for someone else to fix things around the house.
Right.
So that's taking care of yourself, what you like, what makes you comfortable, what keeps you in a good frame of mind. So it really just circles back to, take care of self. What makes you happy? What makes you calm? So it's a physical and mental thing.
Yes, I agree. My resolution is that relaxing at home is absolutely a necessity for everybody. Even, I don't understand people who never take their paid time off. I understand their reasons, usually it's out of fear that
Yes.
that someone's going to do their job better when they're gone, and therefore they won't have a job when they come back. I guess I get that, but at the same time, I've never been one of those people that lost my paid time off because I didn't take it.
No.
So it's absolutely a necessity for everyone to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, just figure out what that means for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Advice.
Oh, well, I don't know. Go first this time. Let's see what you have. What do you have?
Well, my advice is if you're not if you're someone who can't seem to relax at home, start small. Say, I'm going to, at least once this year, I'm going to find something that relaxes me at home. And maybe it's trial and error. Maybe you thought watching TV would relax you, but maybe, don't watch something that's going to be a trigger for you. So it might be, or maybe it's a book or, whatever it is, it's your way of relaxing. You don't have to follow everybody else's lead on that.
Exactly. And so I'm going to go on with that. So, but you may not even know what to do to become relaxed. You may not have found that in yourself because you've worked your whole life and that was your life. But my advice on this is, remember what you enjoyed as a child, as a teenager, or what you enjoyed in your 20s. Because the chances are, whatever that hobby was or something, you probably still like that. And maybe it will help you relax.
Right. Well, it's time for our last segment that we call
So, what do you think? What do you think?
Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
We want to hear from you, listeners. Perhaps you have ideas that we've not touched upon.
Yeah,
so let's hear it.
Yeah, we do want to hear from you, Gary. That number.
Stop picking on Gary.
And that number is 404-594-2247. Gary.
and anyone else who wants to call in.
Gary.
All right, it's time to wrap this up. You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Zinke for the art, and thank you, listeners.
Thank you, listeners, and we love you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.